56 days. That's all the time we have left to complete the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. And going into this episode, we only have 8 PlayStation 2 Platinum games left to find. So this time, will we be able to complete the complete PlayStation 2 Platinum collection? Stick around to find out. And in this envelope right here, we have one of the rarest PlayStation Platinum games ever released. And once again, in this episode, everything changes. You are not going to believe what happens this time. Folks, and welcome back to the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. My challenge for 2025 to not only find every single PlayStation 3 Platinum game ever released here in the PAL region, but to finish the story and find the final PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games we need to have a complete PlayStation Platinum collection. And we are into the final days of this challenge, and it is getting harder and harder and harder to find these games, which just means our search must expand, and this time we are searching all over Europe. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday night at 5, as well as bonus content throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride. If you want to go above and beyond and support the channel even more, become a member of the Dan the Games Man family over on Discord. Every penny goes back into making the channel even more awesome. Over the past month or so, I have visited a lot of different CEX stores all around the UK, and of course in every store I visit I am on the hunt for PlayStation 3 Platinum games, because we are so close now to completing the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. But the closer we get to the end of this challenge, the harder it gets, and honestly the chances of finding these final games we need in CEX are getting slimmer and slimmer. But of course, you know me, I never give up and I never give in. We are going to keep hunting for these games, as we've found so many in CX over the past few months, and with only just over 10 games left to find, I'm sure we can find the last few. First store down, and unfortunately no luck here, but on to our next. Now, of course, I am not just visiting these CEX stores on the hunt for PlayStation 3 Platinum games. I'm of course hunting for steelbooks and generally any cool game to add to my collection. As you will have seen over the past few weeks here on the channel, you'll see some CEX stores we've already seen on a Crazy World of CX episode, or on Steelbook Hunting in CX, but you're going to get a sneak peek of some of the future stores to be featured in both of those series here today as well. Now, unfortunately, once again, we didn't manage to find any Platinum games here in this second CX store, but there's always the chance to find something cool in any of these PlayStation 3 sections, as you can see with this copy of Ratchet & Clank. On to the next store, and even though we haven't managed to find any Platinum games yet, I still have hope. Especially as here in Colchester, it didn't take us long to find a Platinum game we kinda needed here on the shelf: the UK release of Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year Edition. Now, if you saw the last episode of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, you'll know we picked up the Australian version of that game, but it's always cool to have the UK variant. But sadly, when I took it up to the counter, it didn't have the Platinum disc, as that is half the problem when you are hunting for Platinum games in any CEX store. You have no guarantee they're going to have the correct Platinum disc, and unfortunately this time, once again, we didn't strike Platinum. This is what I love about visiting different CEX stores all around the UK, the subtle differences. Like the front of the store here was white rather than the trademark red you'd usually see. One of my favourite things though about visiting any CEX store is comparing the sizes of different sections. Now, I will say, as a general rule of thumb, throughout this year I have seen PlayStation 3 sections getting smaller and smaller and smaller, which of course is making our job of finding PlayStation 3 Platinum games that much harder. And sadly, I fear in years to come these sections will only get smaller. So there's never been a better time to collect for the PS3. Now, of course, as with most things, there are exceptions to the rules, and this CEX store here in Chelmsford was absolutely ginormous, and thankfully Or, as you'd probably expect, being a larger store, it had a very large PlayStation 3 section. Once again, this is what I love about visiting different CEX stores all around the UK. They're all different in their own special ways. But once again, even though there's a massive PlayStation 3 selection here and some really cool games, there's no Platinum games. As we only have such a small amount of games left, it's going to get harder to find these in CX, especially because so many of these games are now regional exclusives. But that isn't going to stop me hunting. And remember what I said about PlayStation 3 sections getting smaller in stores in general? Here in Felixstowe, this is one of the smallest PlayStation 3 sections I've seen in a very long time. Yes, it may be due to the fact that this is also a very small CEX store, but I still say, as a general rule of thumb, these PlayStation 3 sections are definitely getting smaller, and it's only going to get harder to find these PlayStation 3 games in the future. So, if you've been putting off collecting for the PlayStation 3, I would do it now before it's too late. But stores like this, our final store here in Ipswich, are still stacked with games. There was an absolutely massive PlayStation 3 section here, perhaps the largest I've ever seen, and it goes to show it's never too late. It's still a great time to collect for this console, even if you're not collecting Platinum games, because there's so many bangers and so many cheap bangers. If you're looking for a simple, cheap, affordable, fun console to collect for, you could do a lot worse than the PS3. Unfortunately, then this time, we didn't have much luck platinum hunting in CX, but we did have a small win in the most unlikely of places at this cash converter store here in Colchester, where they had one of the craziest PS3 sections I have ever seen. A majority of these games were brand new and sealed, which to see in 2025 is quite literally crazy. But I also had some used PlayStation 3 games, and hiding amongst these was a copy of a game which we do already have in the collection, but for £1 I'm going to grab it for reasons which will become more clear when we take it back to the games room after what had been a pretty difficult hunt. But as always, the hunt must continue, and the hunt never ends. Here we are then, back in the games room after visiting countless CEX stores, and I think this is a first for 2025 and this challenge. This is the first time we have come away from visiting so many CEX stores without finding a single Platinum game, and it just goes to show these final games are going to be very hard to find. But we didn't come away fully empty-handed. We did pick up a different variant of a game we already had in the most unlikely of places in cash converters. It is Batman Arkham Asylum Game of the Year edition, which we did already have in the collection, but the Australian version. These are both PAL versions, but I would probably rather have the UK variant, so for £1 I had to grab it. Unfortunately, at this point of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, we are going to have to rely on eBay now more than ever. But thankfully, we have 2 PlayStation 3 games here to cross off the list. These have come all the way from Germany, I do believe, and I expect they're going to be regional exclusives, as so many of these PlayStation 3 Platinum games only got a general release in very specific countries. So the 2 games we have picked up this time are, I like how they're both individually packaged. The first game here is a really exciting game because I love the exclusive characters on this one. Soul Calibur 4, because the PlayStation 3 version of this game had the exclusive playable character of Darth Vader, while the Xbox 360 had Yoda. I always found it strange that they didn't do cross-platform play so you could have Yoda versus Darth Vader, but I digress. Very happy to cross this one off the list, and means we just have 12 PlayStation 3 Platinum games left to find. But that's not the only game in this delivery. We have a real milestone here, and something I'm very, very happy to say. With this game right here, we have, quite thankfully, every Platinum FIFA game ever released. The nightmare is finally over. With this copy of FIFA Street 3, I can now somewhat happily say I own every single Platinum FIFA game ever released. Over the course of the last 3 years of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, I have stockpiled one of the biggest collections of PlayStation branded t-shirts in the entire world, and enough is enough. I cannot continue to buy a new t-shirt for every video. I'm running out of room in my wardrobe. So in the last episode, I said I was going to give away this t-shirt to one of you lucky viewers, and a viewer drawn at random was Stephen McLeary. So please get in touch via my socials and I'll get this posted out to you. But I am keeping this t-shirt I'm wearing, but this episode will be giving away this PlayStation branded t-shirt right here. So once again, comment in the comments down below, nice shirt, and hopefully I can slowly start to give away my wardrobe. We have just one final PlayStation 3 game to cross off the list this time, bringing us to a final 10 PlayStation 3 games to find. And this one comes courtesy of good friend and fellow YouTuber Gaming Rarities. It is Street Fighter 4, and I can't believe he managed to find this one in the wild. Like, I have never seen this everywhere. You can see this one has come all the way from Germany, our third German exclusive this time, which is absolutely crazy. So massive shout out to Gaming Rarities for this one. He always somehow manages to find the rarest, craziest stuff that no one has ever seen. So please, if you're not already, go and subscribe to his channel. And this isn't the only item I picked up from Gaming Rarities this time, so stay tuned till later in the episode. Now this time we hadn't had much luck hunting in CX, but one of my favourite places to hunt for any video games is at one of the many amazing independent gaming stores we have all around the UK. And this time we're in Lowestoft for two stores, the first of which is Games Exchange, which had an absolutely ginormous selection of PlayStation 3 games, but sadly no Platinum games we needed. But once again, this was an absolutely ginormous selection of PS3 games and is great to see in 2025. The second store we visited whilst in Lowestoft was the Phone and Game Shop, and once again they had an absolutely massive selection, and I would say the vast majority of the games here were either uncommon or rare. And once again, even though they had an absolutely incredible selection of PS3 games, including special editions, slip cases, steelbooks, you name it, they had it, except with one exception, Platinum games. But trust me, go and check out my video from here last week and you will see we found some absolutely incredible items. And if you're ever in the Lowestoft area, you owe it to yourself to visit not one, but two of these amazing stores, as trust me, I have no doubt you'll find something absolutely amazing, even though sadly this time, no Platinum games. Unfortunately, we didn't have any luck finding any Platinum games in those two amazing independent game stores we visited. But if you want to see more from both those stores, and I definitely recommend it, go back and watch last week's video, because that was one town, two amazing game stores. But to finish this episode, we are going to try and complete our PlayStation 2 Platinum collection, and this one has gotten complicated. So, over the course of the past 2 years, trying to find every single PlayStation 2 Platinum game, it has been very, very hard to find a definitive list. And so far, we have narrowed it down to the final 8 games we needed to find. And for the longest time, to the best of my knowledge, these were the final 8 games we needed. But, as it seems is tradition here on the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, everything has changed. As I said from the start, this is going to be a wild ride, and trust me, it's only going to get wilder. Now here is where things get complicated. Now I have spoken to some very reliable sources, fellow collectors, YouTubers, friends, and we have come to the conclusion that of these 8 games still on this list, 4 of these games never got a PlayStation 2 Platinum release. It has been a journey to try and create the definitive PlayStation 2 Platinum list, and we have decided collectively there are only 4 games we still need to complete the PlayStation 2 Platinum library. Or is there? Once again, things have changed. There are 2 games which I never knew got a PlayStation 2 Platinum release. These were 2 French exclusive football games, which means as of now we have 6 PlayStation 2 Platinum games left to find, but we still have some deliveries to unpack. Let's find out then, can we finish the PlayStation 2 story? Now our first game, once again, comes courtesy of Gaming Rarities, and it is iToy Groove. Now this game has come all the way from Italy, which is absolutely crazy, but the craziness doesn't end here because it's the Platinum case. It is complete with a manual, but it has the standard PlayStation 2 Black Label disc. That's because, once again, to the best of our knowledge, this never got a specific Platinum disc. There are a very small amount of games which never got a Platinum disc. To the best of my knowledge, I may be wrong. If I am, please feel free to prove me wrong. But 1 down, 5 to go. I said there was 2 PlayStation 2 football games which were only released in France. Guess what we have here? As soon as I found out these games existed, I had to try and find them. The first one is Le Monde Bleu 2003. I'm not going to try with a part after. I don't know if these are just like different versions of other games which were released in this country, but they seem to be French exclusives to me. Of course, complete with the manual and the Platinum disc. And yes, this did come all the way from France. So we have 2003. I think you can guess what's probably in this envelope here, which is incredibly tightly packed. It is, of course, 2005. Once again, this is a French exclusive and randomly works with the iToy. It is, of course, complete with the Platinum disc and manual. And what can I say? As soon as I found these 2 games existed, I'm just very glad we found them this quickly. Which means 3 down, 3 to go. This game right here has been one of the hardest PlayStation 2 games I've ever had to find. And it was good friend of the channel, Matthew, who finally managed to track this one down in a very random place. I have searched all over the internet. Obviously, I went to eBay. I looked on Amazon. I've been Googling to find out if this game existed. I managed to find pictures, but Matthew managed to find a listing selling this game in France on a site called Rakuten. I think it used to be called Play. I'm not entirely sure. I had to try and translate the website to English and then message the person selling it, asking if they'd send it outside of France to England, and then go through the checkout process in French to get this game here. And when you find out what game this is, it's kind of an anti-climax because this game is Chicken Little. One of the hardest PlayStation 2 Platinum games left to find is a tie-in of a kids movie. Now this isn't complete, but it does thankfully have the Platinum disc. I'm sure I can find a manual for this one, but we are 4 down, 2 to go. We are so close. Unfortunately for today, that is where our PlayStation 2 story ends. We still have 2 games left to complete the PlayStation 2 Platinum library. But I have managed to find both games. The first of which, Rugby 08, is theoretically making its way to me now as we speak. I have ordered it off eBay just over a month ago, but it got lost in French customs. Now I've been assured by the seller it will be here by the end of the week. That's why I've waited this long to drop this episode. I was hoping it would be here and we could near on finish our PlayStation 2 collection. But hopefully by the next episode of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, it will be here. As, like I said at the start of this episode, we have 56 days left to go. Which brings us to King Kong, which I believe is the rarest PlayStation 2 Platinum game ever released. Once again, with help, massive help from good friend of the channel, Matthew, we have managed to track down 1 copy in the entire world, thus kind of proving it actually exists. The slight problem being, that game is in Turkey. Now, Matthew thankfully has found a way to get that game to the UK, but it's going to be expensive. And of course, time and money is everyone's worst enemy. But I'm just hoping I can either find a cheaper copy or Matthew can help get that final game here, and we can finally finish the story of our PlayStation 2 Platinum Collection. There we have it then, folks. That was another absolute roller coaster of an episode of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. And this time we not only managed to cross 3 PlayStation 3 games off the list, meaning we only have 10 left to find, we also managed to find 4 PlayStation 2 games we needed, meaning we have just 2 PlayStation 2 games left to find to complete the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. Meaning in total we have an unlucky 13 games left to find, but we only have 56 days to do it. And the stakes have never been higher. So make sure you join me on the next and perhaps penultimate episode of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, because trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and until next time, let the games begin. See you soon.